Yeah. Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Telling It Like It Is. My name is Jade Alberts, the founder of Peer Guidance. We are a purpose before profit group that guides small businesses, startups, and entrepreneurs. Sharing knowledge and stories is why I started Telling It Like It Is. It is live. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. We will answer them. If you're watching this after the fact, put your questions in there and we will get to them. I am really excited about today's guests, Cressida and Melanie, the founders of Birdie Break. How are you this great summer day?
So great.
You're awesome for having us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Oh, I've been excited ever since. I always thought the first thing I like talking about is how we met, because networking is such an important part of being an entrepreneur and growing your business and becoming successful. And we met through StartupTNT and we had a call and right now I'm having a brain fart. You guys are the person who developed your app again.
Punch card system.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've had with Tim or not Tim, but and
Sam and Eston.
Yeah, yes, and they're partners. I've had a few calls with them. I loved what they did with the COVID continuity and things like that. And even when you guys were going through the process and you made it into the top 5, which is a great accomplishment at TNT. And Sam reaches out and says, "Yeah, you should have them on." I'm like, "Oh no, 100%. They're going to come on, but we just have to wait till we open up so we can share about the babysitting, because we can't babysit right now." So.
Yeah, very true.
Exactly. I said, "Oh, there's no sense promoting them when no one can use their service on the babysitting side anyway."
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, it's been an interesting year and a half for our business, that's for sure. But
oh, no doubt. And we will get into that. So I'll give a brief introduction here and then we'll get after it. So representing contrasting sides of the marketplace, they serve as co-founders. Cressida and Melanie understand the need for Birdie Break on both sides of the platform, parents and sitters. Cressida graduated from the U of A with her Bachelor's of Commerce and has years of experience sales, marketing, and project management. She's also a mom of 2 busy boys and loves finding new challenges to expand her skill set. Melanie is a photographer, intrepid traveler, and has been involved in the conception, development, and exits of 3 local YEG restaurants. She was a nanny in her university days, and her favorite auntie is an unwavering, rational optimist. Together, they strive to provide as much needed solution to a current issue in society, sourcing highly vetted, amazing babysitters on a convenient and modern platform. And I guess as our girls kind of gotten younger, we were lucky enough that I had someone over there that was across the street and another girl that was here. And we were able to use, Alexandra and Brittany all the time. So it was just like, "Oh, you guys want to walk over? Perfect." And I know that's not the case in many situations when you're looking for babysitters. So I love hearing the founding stories. So how did you guys start Birdie Break?
Yeah, and I mean, that's exactly it, Jade. We feel like gone are the days of the neighborhood babysitter, largely. I mean, a lot of people are still blessed enough to have them. But Melanie actually had the idea initially by watching her sister struggle. Her sister has 3 kids.
Yeah.
And when we started actually really digging into it and looking into what options were available to parents out there for sort of high quality on-demand childcare, if you don't have that babysitter down the street or, like your friends and family that are going to watch your kids for you, or you've exhausted those options, you can only ask them so many times, right? It just became that there was such a glaring hole in what was out there right now for to fill this sort of need that parents have. So we started doing some research, and we found that friends were looking on Kijiji or just posting on Facebook being like, "I need somebody to watch my children," and it just seemed so strange and impersonal to us and risky and time consuming. And so we thought there just has to be a better way to do this. And so, that's how the idea of Birdie came along. And, but, we also, if I may, we look at Birdie also not just as a babysitting service, but if you look at it, the issues that we're addressing on a macro level as well, right? If you want to look at like women in the workforce and the role that childcare plays in that, we feel like we're making an impact with that. And also, the move towards understanding the importance of health and wellness and mental health. And, we love our little people, but, parents need a break sometimes, right? And I feel like the stigma with that is starting to decrease. needing that. And so, we just really saw it as such a great opportunity, and we started sort of tossing ideas around, and Birdie was born. It was wild, and I was pregnant, and here we are now. So
Well, it's amazing when like I love hearing the stories because they all come from almost a sense of need and like, wow, why isn't this around? And like you said, Melanie, you just are like, wow, my sister's a problem. We were lucky. We weren't one of them. But I was freaked out when if we didn't have that. I was like, I don't want some person I can just look at in our community magazine and say, hey, do you want to come look after the the most precious things we have in the world? So Melanie, what did your sister kind of did? Which just, yeah, that's it. That's boom.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, it came from a selfish point a little bit where, I just wanted her to have more time and be able to go to events and have fun with her. And I love the little ones. They're my favorites, nieces and nephews. They're amazing. But they, it was just really hard to find highly vetted and great childcare. So we started in 2017 in Edmonton and Calgary. We kind of did everything behind the scenes just through a .com version of our business to kind of validate the market. But it grew to like 2,000 parents within, a couple of years. So eventually, during the pandemic, we actually got a chance to build the app with punch cards. So that was amazing. 2020 in October, we launched it in both the app stores. And now we have this great app that's functioning this month. It's been really great as things open up. It's been awesome. So.
Well, before we get into how the app works, we've talked about it a few times here. The safety and the vetting, and I think that's an important point to get out there because again, it's someone's coming into your home to look after your children. So let's talk about how that works for Birdie Break.
For sure. Yeah. So all of our sitters are 18 plus. We required them to have a clean police background check with a vulnerable sector search. We do a video call with them. So it's quite a lengthy video call. We ask a bunch of questions we look for certain personality traits, including a nurturing nature, responsibility, reliability is a really big one for our company. And then what's the last thing? I think that's pretty much it. I mean, they have to get all their documents into us. We verify their identity, and from there, we get them up on the platform. We do a nice little professional photo of them, and that's pretty much it.
They have to be CPR trained as well. They have to have some sort of training for CPR. But Mel does a really thorough vetting process.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of known with our company as having some of the best sitters in the industry. So we just have a really, really high standards for the quality of the person that we allow to be on our platform. If there's any issues at all, there's like literally a 1 or 2 strike rule, and then they're removed from the platform. So
yeah, our goal is to make sure that parents know that any Birdie sitter that they get is a 5-star sitter. And, when we set out to do this, we also wanted to make sure that our sitters weren't just like keeping your children alive. Like that wasn't their only responsibility, right? We want them to engage with the kids and teach them something new. And so that's really important to us, that the sitters have the personality type that, they're going to bring value and they're excited about working with children and
that the parents have a great time. And then also the kids are having a great time as well. The kids are our clients as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's important, right? I mean, having not someone who's just going to come here, pull out their laptop and say, hey, kids, go on your electronics for the next 4 or 5 hours, right? It's good to hear that you have such a stringent vetting process. So why 18? I know the answer because I asked you a while ago, and our daughter's 14 and she's doing babysitting, but explain why 18.
I mean, I think there's just some decision making that kind of develops as you get a little bit older that, we kind of see as important. Not to say that some younger kids aren't competent, but I think just insurance purposes and, for liability as well. Just I think decision making at 18 plus is a bit more developed.
Well, I agree.
And a lot of our sitters are like university students, or they already work in a daycare, they already have. So it is just sort of that life experience. Not to say, like Mel says, like I know some wildly responsible 14, 15, 16-year-olds, that I would trust my boys with. But just with regards to, managing a business, running a business, insurance purposes and whatnot, we just keep it 18 plus. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably put our 14-year-old daughter as more mature than myself, but
Yeah.
and I mean, and the she's missing her babysitting money. That's for sure. Right? I mean, and she's responsible with it and all that. And I'm sure she'll probably start getting a few more gigs here as September comes along and everything gets back to normal. So
well, Jade, in 4 years, you just sent
Yeah.
her our way.
There's no 100%. I've already got it penciled into my Google Calendar.
I actually do have some ladies who are, 16, 17 that just can't wait to get involved, and I have them on the list. So I'm just waiting for their birthdays. It's so cute.
I mean, that's another thing that I just want to address really quickly too. Like when we talk about like sort of the macro things that we're doing, and we look at Birdie as being more than just a babysitting service. On the flip side, for our sitters too, like we provide them with an avenue to flexible income. We kind of foster that entrepreneurial spirit. They have their sort of small childcare businesses that we're helping them build, and we're connecting them with like our really great Birdie parents. So like on both sides of the equation, that's sort of the cornerstones that Birdie is built on. We really feel like we're improving the lives of both our sitters and our parents. So yeah, that's what keeps us going. It's what makes we're so passionate about it.
So on the parent side, how are you finding them? And then are they repeat? Do they, I hate to say this, or do they say, oh, I really like this girl and we're going to kind of go offline?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't happen.
Mel, do you want to address that?
As far as finding the parents, it's been really amazing to see the network effect amongst moms and dads. Honestly, like once a mom finds a great business like this, they share it with other moms, and we really haven't had to spend almost any marketing, and we're up to about 2,000 parents now.
Wow.
Once we start pumping some marketing dollars, hopefully that'll grow as well. But and then what was the other point? Sorry,
the loyalty thing.
Yeah, So something that's that's something that I drive home in the interview. We actually don't charge the sitters anything to be on our platform. So there's other competitors out there that do charge them something to be on there. We kind of just I have this little speech that I do with them, and it's essentially, if a parent tries to go around you, we kind of ask for your loyalty. There's a lot of resources and time that goes into this business behind the scenes, and we don't charge you anything to be on there and find these great families. So we just ask that you politely decline and ask them to go through the app. But, it's interesting with the data, Crystal, maybe you can speak to that, just how few kind of issues that we've had with that, believe it or not,
Yeah, as we study our metrics, our percentage of repeat users to one-time users is definitely starting to steadily shift back over to repeat users. And I think that we decided at the onset of this business, obviously as a two-sided marketplace, we were cognizant of the fact that we are connecting and there is a possibility for leakage, but we decided sort of to really build loyalty on the sitter side. We thought we had to choose one side, and so we sort of really build the loyalty on the sitter side. Not to say that we don't have sort of loyalty programs in place for the parents that are coming down the pipeline, but it is always a thing that comes up, and it's always in the forefront of our mind, but it actually has been less of an issue than we even thought that it would be. And, because for parents, it's convenient as well. They may have a favorite sitter, but then they have to text them. They have to text them. If they're not available, they have to text somebody else. If they're not available, they have to text somebody else, right? With ours, it's just a one-stop shop, right? They can get on. They know they get a great sitter. And, one of the tech features we're going to be implementing down the road is like a favorites button. So you can send out, your requests to only your favorite sitters, and if they're not available. So, we're working to build tighten that leakage up, if there is any at all. And to be honest, there are sitters who come to us often and they're like, hey, this parent wanted to book me. I just told them to book it through the app. And we're like, oh, we love you guys.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And eventually we have some really cool ideas, for loyalty plans where it's a certain amount of hours logged through the app. Every sitter, at 100 hours, you get this bonus, whether it's cash incentive or whether it's, some restaurant deals, that type of thing. So it'll be added value to keep booking through the app.
No, that's awesome. Again, I'm talking with Cressida and Melanie, the founders of Birdie Break. BirdieBreak.com is their website. You can just click on it in the comments section. So, I mean, and that's good. I mean, I love it, right? I mean, these babysitters, will not have, they're going to have access to probably, jobs that they would never get, or, I can tell you what I do with our community newsletter right now, right? It's a quick, blah, 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 it's gone, right? It's not even, not because we don't need babysitters. It's just something that I've never really looked at. So why don't you explain that Jade Alberts wants to book a babysitter? Walk me through the how the app and the process goes.
Yeah, for sure. So, so you would create a profile, which if you have not yet, you should.
I have.
And so you go on, and we just ask sort of basic information about, about your kids, if you have animals, sort of what your household rules are, because all of that stuff is going to be conveyed to the babysitter. So, so you'd create a profile, which takes like 5 minutes. Yeah. And then what you would do is, let's say you are going out this Saturday, you would just request a sitter for this Saturday between this time frame. We also have an option for recurring booking or not. A lot of our parents actually use us, like we have some parents who use us like 3 hours, 5 days a week. And so they would then indicate there that it's a recurring booking, and these are sort of the dates and times that they're looking for. But if it was a one-time thing, you just put in the date, the time, and then you submit it. And what happens is that all of our sitters on the platform then get notified that there's a new booking available. And so they're encouraged to log on and take a look. So on there, they'll see sort of the parent details that you provided. We allow parents the option to upload a photo, which we love, because the sitters show a photo of themselves, but not all parents do, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
And so then they look, and if it seems like it's something they're interested in, and it's a good fit, they think they'd be a good fit for their family, and they're available for it, then they click submit, and then they can edit their hourly rate. We allow that because let's say a parent has like 4 kids, or let's say it's 2 couples with 2 kids and they want to go out together and they have all the kids the one place, or let's say, so it allows them to adjust as needed, or let's say the kids are going to be asleep and they're just going to be sitting there watching Netflix and they're willing to do it for a cheaper rate. And then they add a little personal note. So right now, obviously, a lot of our parents want vaccinated sitters. So they'll include that in their booking request, and a sitter will be like, they can write a note saying, hey, I'm fully vaccinated. And then they hit submit, and then the parent gets a notification saying, you've got a new submission. So we get like 2 to 6 submissions for most bookings, and then the parent can go through and review their profiles. And on a sitter's profile is a picture of them, sort of their educational history, any sort of relevant experience that they have, their hourly rate, and then the parent chooses which one they want. And at that point, currently the phone number becomes visible to both parties once they've confirmed a booking. Eventually we want to implement in-app messaging, but that's just, we're on our MVP right now. So we need the funds to be able to do that. And so then the parents and the sitters connect. And then the payment is done sort of after the booking is complete. The sitter sort of enters their hours. So if it's a first time booking, Jade, you would have to enter your credit card information once you submit and confirm that sitter. And then payments automatically made at the end, and Bob's your uncle, and you've had an incredible night out, and your kids have had so much fun, and they're going to be asking for the sitters to come back. That's the process.
Do you have a lot of people wanting the same sitter over and over and over? They got that relationship. The kids like it. I mean, it worked out. The girls are happy with the 2 that we were lucky enough to have as neighbors. So is that a common occurrence?
Favorites thing is definitely a thing, and typically the sitter will talk to the parents, and they'll know when their jobs are being submitted, and they'll pick those shifts up for them.
Yeah, that's it. They'll say, like, even the parent will write in the little note about that specific booking, this request is for so and so, and then the sitter just goes on and accepts it, and so the booking remains in it. But it is actually interesting you bring that up, Jade, because I've been surprised that there are on numerous occasions parents who are like, no, we want somebody different every time, because we want to expose our children to different things that the sitters have to teach, different personalities, different backgrounds. So that's also a really interesting lesson that we've learned sort of along this process.
So if I throw in a booking, would I have maybe, let's say, four girls? I'm assuming it's more girls.
Primarily
4 girls, saying yes, I'm available, and then I get to pick.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's that simple, right?
Yeah, and you'll see all of their profiles with their information, their about me, their qualifications. You'll see everything about them.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, I try and use every before someone comes on and tells it like it is. I always want to use their service, and I've used it, and I know Christy's coming on next week with Hion, and we used that to sell something and things along those lines. I was like, oh man, I just can't use the service right now. I was like, but I don't want to wait till the end of September to put you guys on, because I want people to hear about it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, Jade. And you know what? We actually, like, we are really seeing, like, we are being blown forward by the winds of the world opening up and the vaccination rates rising.
Oh,
So,
geez.
yeah, we're really busy right now. It's really exciting. You know,
Yeah.
sitters are excited to work, and parents are excited to get out and about, or, you know, to have another service to be able to rely on if their daycare closes or whatever the case may be. Right. So, yeah. It's happening again.
I just want to, but before we go on to the next question, I just want to touch base on, and I know I never threw this out there in the stuff that I sent you, but
Mhm.
you guys did go through the startup TNT process,
Mhm.
and you got to the top 5, and
Mhm.
I just, briefly, can you share kind of the pros that, or your experience, with that, and
Yeah.
how do you think it helped you, help Birdie break as a business, and possibly even moving forward?
Yeah. Um, Immensely, honestly, like, it was a really great experience. Even though we didn't win, top 5 is a huge accomplishment, and we're really proud of how well we did. The connections that we made through it, Jade, you know, all of these things, it really plugged us into the ecosystem, more than we were before. And I think that there's so much value, doing that you get from that and building that sort of network. It just opens up so many doors and opens up so many opportunities. And the other thing is, in all honesty, like, the process of going through an investment, preparation round,
Mhm.
like, our data room is on point. Like, everything is, we've got everything sorted. We're ready for that next stage. And I think that, preparation, like, in my, background of, like, event coordination and project management, like, prep, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. But so, we've got everything sort of ready, and that was really exciting and amazing. And also just being able to, pitch and get the feedback from investors. So the more that we talk to sort of people in the ecosystem, we start to realize, we're in a really interesting situation in that, with the world opening up, it is sort of like a little bit of a new world. We're not really
Mhm.
sure how people are going to move around it, and, with our app. And so we're in this sort of, like, data collection exploratory phase right now. And it's so it allowed us to sort of see the importance of that, of really sort of, proving out all of the hypotheses that we have, basically, with regards to how Birdie is going to work in post-pandemic world. But yeah, I'd say the networking and getting all of our ducks in a row was invaluable, being involved in Startup TNT.
Nice,
Mhm.
good. I'm assuming, Mel, you feel the same way.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, Cressida took, like, the reins on that one quite a bit, but I helped a lot in the back end and in the data room, and but she did
Yeah.
great. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
no,
good
I mean,
experience.
it was fantastic, and I always say the people that you meet are going to be more important than any money that you might win. And I mean, there's
Mhm.
many examples of companies that have come through there, and even Chris at a Wyvern is a lot. He didn't even make the top 5, and they're going to be up there, probably closing close to $1 million here.
Yeah.
And just again, the people, the access, it just opens up so many more doors. So I'm glad that
Mhm.
I'm glad that the experience was positive, because this conversation could have gone the other way
Sure you wanna ask
without
me that,
without
Jade?
kind of just throwing that out there
You would
on a
never
whim.
divulge live.
Yeah,
I was kidding.
no, it was great. It was great. Yeah.
Oh my god! Well, I really appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no
So
problem.
what's next for Birdie Break?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, like, we kind of are in talks with investors, where we do realize that we're very, very close to a point where we finally are gonna have to start putting some money behind us with regards to marketing. We haven't spent any money on marketing yet, and we've grown organically thus far, but we have plans on scaling across Canada and eventually globally. So in order to do that, we are going to need, a little bit of a buffer and a little bit of a
Yeah.
buoyancy that comes from having some funds to be able to throw behind us. But currently, right now, this summer, we're just really focusing on how we can organically sort of gather as much data as possible. So, how our parents are using us, and obviously with a consumer business, especially a consumer marketplace, we feel like that those data points are just so imperative with regards to driving a healthy investment round. So that's what we're really focusing on right now, and seeing, Mel and I are like, we have an insane amount of grit and we're like really cheap. So we spend money very, very frugally because we've bootstrapped everything thus far, essentially. So we also
how to build a website, we're doing everything
Yeah.
behind the scenes on our own. But yeah, eventually, it's at a point where it needs a team. It needs another recruiter. It needs a tech piece, and marketing as well.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. So we can do so much, just the two of us, but we want to be really big. Like we want to do so much more. We really want it.
Goals. I mean, we're going for it. We're gonna, go across Canada hopefully this year. At least to a few major markets, but then eventually and quickly down to the US and eventually globally.
And I mean, I guess I should have pointed this out. You guys are in Calgary and Edmonton right now.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Should have started that off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Toronto will be our next launch. Probably in about 8 months is what we're sort of targeting. So we're really going to solidify our foothold here in Alberta, and then head on out to the big city.
Head on out to the big smoke.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, actually, the great thing about our business is that, everything can be done remotely. So we actually hire all of we bring on all of our sitters remotely. We can market remotely. We don't even necessarily have to be in Toronto to launch in Toronto, which is kind of fascinating and cool.
Yeah. The scalability of our business is great. Yeah.
I know. And this is, I think this is going to be a very good comparison. And John's going to be on from Spot Dog Walking, who ended up winning cup. I mean, I want to say that he's honestly kind of the animal version of what you guys are doing. And I
need to speak with him at some point, so that maybe you can make that connection for us.
100%. I walked out of Craft last night at 1:30 a.m. with him. So
oh, perfect.
As long as Zach and Tim, hey guys. But it's I think watching what he's going to do, and that introduction is definitely going to come in the near future because he's ready to go now. He did do it, and COVID punched him in the face as well, and then he had to watch his burn and get down and things like that. So now he's whether or not he won or not, he was ready to go.
Yeah.
And watching how he does it, because his process is exactly the same as yours. All onboarding is virtual, things like that. People love their dogs and their things along those lines. So yeah, we will definitely make that introduction, and you'll be able to see what he does for marketing and have those conversations with them on what does and doesn't work. And again, that's another benefit of the StartupTNT world is, again, the connections and I mean, I've already sent 2 or 3 people to John and saying, hey, this guy's opening up this business and it's very similar, and he has some insurance questions. Who did you use? What did you do? And again, I talk about this all the time. We're such a collaborative network and community in the entrepreneurial world here in Alberta. It's fantastic.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. And I think plugging into that is super valuable for anybody who is interested in being an entrepreneur or starting a business. Like, I just think learning from people who have done it as well, or maybe only are a few months ahead, or even in the trenches with you, like it's invaluable. Yeah.
And I mean, maybe there's even a collaboration there, because most people that have pets have kids.
True.
So maybe there's some marketing, some marketing
promotion. That's
promotions in the near future in Toronto, Calgary, Edmonton. Who knows, right?
Awesome.
Maybe that introduction should happen today.
Yeah.
I'll make that happen.
Well, we are here. We're here for it.
And John will be on in September. As we're coming on, telling it like it is. So
great.
It'll be another good interview. I'm always sad when these conversations come. They're very off the cuff and very casual, which I love, and I think it's very authentic. But I do want to have one more question, and you can each have your own answer. But if you had one piece of advice for a small business, startup, or entrepreneur, what would that be? Mel, you can go first.
Oh gosh, I have like so many though.
I need one, just one.
All right. I would say build up your optimism and resilience. I mean, there's so many hurdles that you have to jump going through the process. I mean, the greatest thing about being an entrepreneur, I think, is the control that you have over your own destiny. And I think ultimately, you just got to be tough. There's going to be a lot of roadblocks that present themselves, but you just got to figure out solutions for all of them and just keep going.
Absolutely.
Love it. Good one, Mel. For me, I think I would probably have to say to be able to use tools to time manage properly. I guess this is more related, especially if there's any like moms out there who are trying to run a business from home, like I have done for the past 5 years of my life. It's really hard. It's really, really hard when you have these little people that are demanding your attention, and the guilt can be real. You feel like you're not giving 100% to your business. You're not giving 100% to your children. So I think that finding ways and strategies to really set up sort of boundaries, when your work time, it's work time, and when your kid time, your kid time. And I think that, also it's so important to find something that you're really passionate about and that brings you joy, because if it's no longer joyful, then, there's going to be ups and downs. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But in general, I think that it's really important to find that balance, be able to set up those boundaries, and love it. You have to have fun. You have to have fun what you're doing, Lord knows this is life. It's incredible, and you got to love it. You got to have fun with all aspects of it. So,
and choose a partner that you're going to be spending so much time together all day long, talking to them, and you've got to love them. It's critical.
True.
Oh, it's your second marriage.
Yeah.
Totally.
When I started that question, I really thought that, all right, I'll ask that probably for the first, 20 episodes, and then I'm going to hear every answer. And here I am, almost 180 in, and that's the first time I've heard it. The answers that I've heard, right? Like just
that's
totally
so
different.
incredible.
It just. I think one day I'm just going to have to go and watch everyone, and then just cut everyone and just have a clip of every little.
That would be great.
That would be really
the advice is just, amazing. And it's so different, and it's so genuine. And, and it makes a difference when you're, entrepreneurs, share with each other. It's not easy. And people think, oh, you're an entrepreneur. Oh, yeah, I want to be an entrepreneur. Yeah.
No, it is not easy. Gear up, hold on tight.
Here we go. We were talking about roller coasters before.
That's
right?
it. Yeah, totally.
Like going down a water slide with no water. Here we are.
Yeah, exactly. But that is interesting. The human experience, it's so varied and vast, and how valuable it is to have all those little tidbits of information. That's great, Jade. You should do that. It'd be awesome.
Maybe it's a job for a 14-year-old daughter.
Yes, summer job.
Here you go. Pay X amount of dollars to go through 180 episodes and write them all down. And
totally.
I would not a bad idea, to be quite honest. But I really, again, I really want to thank you, ladies, for coming on today and sharing your story, sharing your knowledge. If anybody wants to check them out, it's birdiebreak.com. Just click on the website in the comments section, and it's definitely a service that's out there, especially when you're dealing with the most precious things in the world, our children. So again, I look forward to having you guys on. It'll probably be an update. I'm probably going to do an update month sometime, and maybe within a year. Have an update, and after you've kind of gone through expansion, I think it would be nice to maybe share the second part of what your journey is going to be, from startup to expansion and world domination, as you have said.
Yeah.
So exactly.
Well, Jade, honestly, thank you so much for thinking of us and having us on. And
this has been lots of fun. Thank you.
Excellent. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your summer, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their summer as well, or the rest of their day until next week. So again, thank you. And we will talk with everybody next week.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.